Okay, guys, welcome to the BTM Club show. And as usual, we always bring you the best of the best. Today, once again, we are surpassing ourselves. We have His Royal Highness, and I'm going to give you the full name, okay? I'm going to give you the full name, Leroy O'Neil Jackson Burgess. Now, the Burgess is the bit that's the important bit to all of us because that's the bit that we know. Welcome to the show, sir.
You're hilarious. That's so funny. But thank you, and it's good to be here.
Oh, it's even better to have you. Now, I'm going to start by my seeing you for the first time. I'm ashamed to say I saw Leroy Burgess for the first time, even though I have everything he's ever recorded with all of the groups, which we will talk about throughout the show. I saw him for the first time live earlier this year, a couple of months ago, at the Jazz Caf with what I can only describe as one of the most phenomenal, and I don't use that word liberally, phenomenal live bands I have ever heard. They are, I think you said they're from France?
They are from Lyon.
Right, from Lyon. And you've been touring with them for how long?
Since 2016.
Okay.
I met them in 2016, and it was instantaneous in terms of how much I loved what they were doing with my work, and how well they locked it in just at the very first rehearsal in Lyon when they were introducing themselves. This was the first time we met, and we had a set that I had sent them. I sent them the songs. They learned the song so well that it felt like walking into the record or walking into the original recording session. And that's
Get a bit closer to the mic. We're losing you.
And it felt like walking into the record or walking
right.
into the original recording session. And that's rare for, a live band to accomplish because there's so many elements to the song or to the recordings. But they nailed it. And I was like, wow. I was like blown away. And from that point, I said to the people that presented them, this needs to be a permanent relationship. Okay. I'm very, very comfortable with all of my live performances being supported by Saving Cocoa is the name of the band.
Yeah.
My friends were, hello, Saving. Hi, Saving Cocoa. It's me.
Yeah.
But they nail everything. And the show that you saw, which was our 2025 show, we just put all the songs together where it's almost like a non-stop experience for the entire hour, 70 minutes of just energy. And it's fun to do. It wears me out every time. But
I could see you guys were having the time of your life up there.
So much fun. It's so enjoyable, particularly with the kind audiences of London and England in general, the UK. You guys have been so responsive and appreciative of my work. It's really quite something, and it touches my heart every single time I'm in front of the English audience because I just know we connect through the music that I was blessed to do.
Absolutely.
And we got to do it right. It has to be perfect.
Well, the thing is, you have to say that you have been touching our hearts and lives positively since the 70s. That following for you has never gone away. And that's why I had to say that the band was absolutely phenomenal because, as you said, it was like walking into the record. And when you've been listening to these tracks since the 70s, you know every single inflection, you know every single nuance. And believe me, they captured it. It was an absolute pleasure to listen to them and see you all having a great time and us doing what we had to do while we were there, But and it's not always that way when you go to live performances. There's
believe me, I know. I am familiar with that.
Yeah, it's not always that way. So when you are able to encounter it as if you're putting the needle on the record yourself, it really is something to behold. So we have to thank you and Saving Coco for that, because that was phenomenal. But tell me, where did this all begin for Leroy Burgess? Because I mean, you wear so many caps and are good at all of them, which is really quite scary. You make the regular guy look inadequate because
Uh,
you wear so many hats: singer, songwriter, producer, and you do them all so well.
I come from a good family. I come I come from a really, really good. I was blessed to be born into just a stupendously talented family that includes Kool the Gang, Thom Bell, Jerry Bell from the Daz Band, Archie Bell, Betty Wright. These are my family members that of the family that I was born into. So to
Right.
some
So
extent,
you need to back up and give us some more information about that. So you
all
are related to all of those people that you mentioned?
all those and more in the entertainment industry.
Wow.
Uh, it's really quite stark and amazing to me. But I feel it in my blood, to answer your question. I've always felt that in my blood since I was little, 2, 3 years old. I felt music churning in my blood. All
Right.
right. And connecting me to all of my family members through that. And that energy has always been in my life from the time that I was just a little nipper. So that's where it comes from. It just uh like I said, the many luminaries who guided my way
Yeah.
in my family. I watched them and I was taken by them and enjoyed their work. And I listened, I was like, learn this and learn that and learn from Kool the Gang and particularly Thom Bell, who I learned a lot about songwriting, particularly in the early days when I was writing ballads,
Yeah.
um, arranging and how arranging works in the workings of an orchestra and orchestration. These are things I learned largely from listening to Thom Bell. Again,
Right.
my mother's cousin. Okay. Uh,
Right.
right. And in terms of the funk and the instrumental side, I got a lot of that from the Bell brothers of Kool the Gang, Robert and Ronald, and most recently Amir Bayan. Um, I'm watching them and I'm absorbing what they do and just impressed by it. And it's making me dance. It's making me happy. And I want to be a part of that. I
Yeah.
want, I want to join the fun, join in on the fun.
Absolutely.
And so that begins a career of study that started maybe when I was about 5, but perhaps earlier, maybe 4. I started learning piano. I started learning to sing. I sang all the time. People got so sick of me. People got so sick of me singing all the time, just walking through the seat. I'd hear the music in my head and I'd start singing along and be in my own world, just singing just as loud as if I'm, you know, on the biggest stage in the world. Um, that's to myself. And the neighborhood knew it. My friends and family certainly knew it. And I met the members who would become Black Ivory in '68, going into '69. And we met Patrick Adams shortly after that. Patrick's I was blessed that Patrick saw something in myself and the group and took us under his wing.
Right.
And that was quite a wing to be taken under because he was very powerful. He was a powerful energy in terms of brilliance and talent and creativeness. So he guided me pretty much all my life. I mean, all of my musical life. Patrick was always there, present
Right.
in everything that I did. He would be my guide. I'd go to him and I'd say, "Is this good or is that good?" or so forth and so
Yeah.
on. And Patrick would be happy to point me in the right direction through all times. And this is since I was, 16 years old, 15, 16 years old, through the time that he was called to his ascension 3 years ago. So it's always been here. It's always been something that I want to do. And I was saying to a friend of mine, the joy of sharing something that people get and receive and agree with and approve of and feel strongly about, that's a big part of it, because my audiences, they love what the songs are saying. They love the energy that comes from it, and they send energy back to me, right? And between that balance comes everything, I think. So I'm just blessed to be.
Well, I mean, I think the three things I want to pick up on that you've said, and
only three,
only three at the moment, at the moment. But okay. You know, it really did make a difference. I mean, what a motivational and inspirational circumstance you came up in that was motivating you and inspiring you to keep writing music, but also the gratitude you have for being able to be in that situation and pick it up. Because a lot of times there are things going on around us, and if we're humble enough and just settle ourselves, there are things that we could be learning, but we're not. But as you said, it was all going on around you, and you were like a sponge. You were absorbing it, and you know, you were bringing it into your very spirit, your very soul, to do what you do and do it so well.
Well, that sums it up. You know, I'm the energy that God sends me, and my family sends me, and my friends and fans, and I am that.
Yeah.
And without which, things would be very different in terms of whatever I bring into the world. You guys feed me, and I just put it to music.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, so you said you met the Black Ivory guys in '68. So that was your first band, was it?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you know, I sang around the neighborhood and this, that, and other little shows that, you know, would be events held at the community centers and so forth. I loved singing, and since I was doing it all the time, I got to be, you know, kind of good at it.
Yeah.
I sang around. The first group that offered me a position was a gentleman named Larry Newkirk, and we were counselors at a day camp, summer day camp, and we were singing, playing basketball while doing the same thing, and he heard me. He invited me to his group, and that group evolved into what became Black Ivory, and so from that point on, and that was Black Ivory actually evolved from '68 through '71 when we released our first record. So that was that initial period. That's how it all began. And once I got a taste of a record being out, people
responding positively.
Yeah, people absorbing it, feeling good about it, and it making them. Once I got a taste of that, I knew that I was on the right path. So the idea was just keep doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, the thing is, your repertoire is so vast. You can't put Leroy Burgess into any one category, to my mind. I don't think you can put Leroy Burgess into any one category, because ever so often you see your name popping up all over the place as producer on this, songwriter on that.
Ranger, etc. Right.
You know,
that's simply because music itself is infinite. I mean, everything is in it, from all different styles, all different types, genre to genre, generation to generation. Music is just so infinite. And if any musician worth their metal, appreciate this to some degree and allow that infinite vibration to become a part of them. So you can't just be R&B. You can't just be rock. You can't just be jazz. You
Yeah,
can't be classical. All of it comes in and becomes a part of what makes you tick as a musician.
yeah,
So that's why um, starting with ballads and the slow music of the early 70s and stuff like that, evolving into boogie and what became boogie and the dance genres and into house and slipping over to rap and hip hop and so forth and so on, electro boogie with the Aleens. Um, it's just it's who I am. I'm trying to do music, so I can't categorize myself and say, "Oh, I'm only this" or
yeah,
"I'm only that." All right, because in doing so, I remove myself from even attempting those marketplaces, right,
yeah.
and seeing what my voice is in that. So I keep it
And
moving.
kind of, if you do that, I think you almost limit your potential because,
Absolutely.
you know, there are other things out there that you could be possibly quite good at, but because you categorize yourself in one space.
Right. And that's the thing. Through life, people try to put you in boxes. All
Yeah,
right. You're this or you're that. And once they determine that you're this or that,
yeah,
they want you to stay there, insist you stay there. All right. Don't leave your box and so forth. But the thing is, as human beings, we have infinite potential within us. So
yeah,
we're not to be put in a box. People are to appreciate who we are and what we are outside of boxes,
yeah,
right? And it's so automatic that people do it. It's like, okay, you're a black guy, so you're supposed to do black guy things. You're a
yeah,
white person thing. You know, you're this person, you're that person. You're a classical musician, so you're supposed to do only classical. Don't do anything else. All right,
yeah,
because if you do so, you're outside the box. Get back in your box. Life is not like that. Life, when you're experiencing it, it's infinite. Everything's in it. All right. So that's where you are. You're
yeah,
with everything. And the more you embrace that, the more you embrace that, the more you embrace the truth of what existence is. At least for us human beings
yeah.
on
But you
Earth.
see, and you're taking it to a spiritual level as well, which is
Mhm.
making you see the potential of the music and the world that's out there. A lot of
Exactly.
people don't get to that place in life. And there are all these sayings like jack of all trades, master of none, stay in your lane, all of these things that are almost restricting you and telling you that, well, once you're in that category that I've put you in, you didn't even
Mhm.
put yourself there, that I've put you in, you have to stay there. you
See,
know,
but nobody has the right to do that. Nobody, not even society
nobody.
at large, has
Exactly.
a right to do and to tell you this is your lane, stay there. All
Yep.
right. You don't know what my lane is. When I'm a child and coming up, I don't even know what my lane is. All right. Let
Exactly.
my lane be what it is, right? And absorb it, examine it, come up with whatever, you like it, you don't like it, do whatever. But this is my lane. This is who I am. All right. So see me for what I am.
Yeah.
Take me out. I'm going to kick the box open and come out, no matter what you think, right? Because my job is to live my best life. All right. To live the way that my heart tells me, my spirit tells me to live that way. You can't do that in a box, and we all have unlimited potential that when we're not being categorized,
Yeah.
right, we can see of ourselves. And that's important. That's the way I live. That's what I
Yeah, but
do.
you've come to a certain spiritual point in life that a lot of people do not get to even be able to see or even express what you are expressing here today. So this is why Leroy Burgess was a necessity to come to the BTM club because we had to hear exactly this. We had to hear exactly this. But I love the evolution because, as I said, I've got most of what you've done through the years from the Black Ivory days, and I love how you just slip fluidly with sinuous dexterity from one. Yeah, I'm throwing some words out there.
Continuous dexterity. Oh man, that's yeah. Look up everybody.
From
Look
group
that
to from group
continuous
to group.
dexterity.
Sinuous dexterity. That's exactly what you do. I've been following the music. That's exactly what you do. You know, we can name the bands from Log to Alim to, and it goes on. In a life, it just goes on everywhere we're seeing Leroy
Mm,
Burgess's name popping up. Now, what I'm really interested about is Universal Robot Band.
okay.
Now, I have heard, and I want to hear it from the God himself,
Well, me.
Claire, Claire, the band Claire, and Universal Robot Band. Now, what was the connection?
I don't know that there was one. I
All right,
don't know if
okay,
there was one. Here's the thing about Universal Robot Band. Just as many groups did back in the 70s, 80s, so forth, they were studio groups, all right?
right,
They began as it wasn't an actual group like a Jackson 5 or a Black Ivory or a Delphonics. It wasn't actual groups. It was
right.
a name put on a product that suggested a group, such as Change, such as Freak, Dazzle. All of these things are actually non-existent groups,
Yeah,
right? That non-existent groups that are production ideas on the part. They get a great producer brings in the vocalists and the vocalists and musicians, create a sound, put that out. It's not a group, all right?
right.
But but um it's difficult. That I mean, that's just how it was then.
Yeah,
So Universal Robot Band, right, began as a concept of Patrick Adams and Greg Carmichael. I wasn't involved with it initially.
all
Okay.
right.
I wasn't involved with it initially. Um, when we did now, here's the story of Barely Breaking Even.
Here we go.
Barely Breaking Even was the seventh song on the Log album, recorded and written for South Soul Records to close that project, the Log album, with song number 7.
Yeah.
Okay. The song was so good and contained so much energy that clandestinely, our co-producer, Greg Carmichael, went to the studio, as I understand it, at around 2 a.m. in the morning, dead of night, had a copy made of the 24-track master. No, strike that. He took the 24-track master, saying that he was going to make a copy of it and bring it back. The following day, myself, James Calloway, Sonny Davenport, we went to the studio to mix Barely Breaking Even. It was gone. It was gone. The master tape, the 22-inch, 24-track master, was gone. Okay. We go to South Soul. We say, South Soul, listen, the 7th song, the one that y'all paid for, the 7th
Right.
song is it has been,
Disappeared.
it has disappeared. And what are y'all going to do about it? South Soul was so happy with the first 6 songs, right? From I Know You Will all the way to Sweet to Me, right? They were like, oh, let him have it. And we were like, we couldn't get our heads around that because Barely Breaking Even was the closing song of that album, the most powerful. It's all
Yeah.
the energy of the Log album coming together. All right. That's why Greg had to have it. That's why, when it was absconded, we were just freaked out about it. Fast forward to, oh God, it must have been the year after the Log album came out. on Moonglow Records over in London, where we're not really looking at the London market. We live in New York. We're living in the United States lifestyle. So we're not looking at London. But here comes Barely Breaking Even, released on Moonglow Records through whatever deal that Greg Carmichael made with them, right?
Right.
Mixed by John Morales.
Yeah.
Another friend of mine, another colleague of mine, but all of a sudden it's out and we don't know anything about it. We're like, we don't know anything about Barely Breaking Even. We're just baffled and mind boggled by its absence and the fact that Salso isn't chasing it harder, right? To get it back. So, but here it is out. And so we're like, okay, let's make sure the publishing is correct. Let's make sure the song is copyrighted and protected, so forth and so on. We don't even know who to chase as artists on, for our artist percentage or anything like that. We don't even know who to chase. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's just disappeared,
It's gone. It's gone, but it's out.
Yeah.
It's gone, but it's out. Meanwhile, in London, it's becoming this anthem, right? The working man and the people for whom the song was written are getting it. And they're saying, wow, I got to get some for myself. I'm barely breaking even too. This is what's happening in my life, which is what the song was meant to do when my cousin Sonny came up with the idea. It's become this big thing in London, particularly in the underground discos and so forth, that people like Paul Anderson, Bobby and Steve in their early days, and Marsha Carr, all right, they were pushing this in the underground pirate radio stations back in London and so forth and so on. And the people are just like, this is my life, barely breaking even. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
So we're, meanwhile, over here in America, myself, Sonny, and James Calloway are oblivious to this even happening, all right? I do not find out about it until I go over there on the behest of Bobby and Steve Lavinia, right? At that time, they were Zoo. Now they're Groove Odyssey.
Yeah.
And we go over there after they had us do a remake of Over Like a Fat Rat. They bring us over to for a tour, myself and Tyrone Williams. And that's when we find out. We find out everything, what barely breaking even means, and
so you just find out that this track has been released in London by being out and hearing it, or what?
Correct. Absolutely. All right. First, we heard
that feeling to me. What you felt when you're thinking, wait, hold on a minute, that's my tune. Express that feeling to me.
Frustration is partly what it was. All right, because now it's out and we don't know who to address in order to get the business of the song being released correct. Greg Carmichael was in the wind.
Yeah.
He was just gone. You can't find him. You can't, he's gone. All right.
Yeah, because he knows what he's done, right?
Right, exactly. No answers from that, right? We have no idea of who to contact in terms of Moonglow Records, right? The people that signed the song to that label. We have no idea of who to contact. And this is like I said, maybe 83 it came out. I didn't really experience its impact until 88, 87, 88.
Right.
So at that point, Moonglow Records had dissolved as a label. There's nobody to contact.
So there's nobody to contact there.
Correct. There's nobody to contact there. So again, the frustration of knowing that this is a lost cause. All right. However, the good in it, the God in it, right, was that the song came out. right? And the people were hearing it, right? More important than the money that it makes or how well it does commercially is the fact that the energy of Barely Breaking Even exists in a way that people can hear. That was the most important thing in the first place. All
Yeah.
right. So, business aside, right? If that influence can reach the people, that's the point to me. All
Yeah.
right. The fact that it's there for you to hear and feel whatever way you decide to feel about it, right? That's what's important. So I began to focus on that. And particularly now, in 2025, when I've firsthand experienced how much it means to
Yeah.
the people of the UK, how much it means. That's what I'm happy for, that it came out.
Yeah.
My biggest experience with that was at Paul Anderson's 50th birthday party. And I was there celebrating with him. And in the middle of the evening, or middle of the night,
Yeah. Yeah.
they played Barely Breaking Even, and the audience, everybody that was in the club, stopped what they were doing, made it to the dance floor. If there wasn't any room on the dance floor, they began to sing every single word of the song verbatim all the way along. And when the chorus came in, just barely breaking even, I got to get some for myself. And when that self hit, the entire place, I,
Erupted.
yeah, it really did erupt, and I felt like it lifted itself. Right? Um, I broke into tears, man. I fell apart. I was like, oh my God. This is, that, and see, because it's every creative person's desire and wish to reach people, right?
Yeah.
That's the goal. Every person, and when you experience the impact of something that you've created, what it makes on the people, that's quite a moment. It
Yeah.
really did. And so that minute it hit me, and I was like, wow. And Paul came up, he came upstairs and he seen me out there breaking down. I was like, he's like, what's wrong? I said, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. I had no idea that people felt this way about this song.
Yeah.
So that's where that's
Yeah, I
that.
mean, it is an anthem. And I can remember the first time I heard it, it was in a club called the Wag Club.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it was probably Paul playing it. And I can
Likely.
remember we danced to the whole 10-minute and whatever, 12 minutes, however long it is.
Around
Well,
12
we were
minutes.
younger then. We could do that then. We were younger.
Yeah. Don't
But
try
even
to.
then, we had to run outside of the club to get fresh air because it was so hot inside that club with everybody hands up. And I mean, that's 40 years ago. That is 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is one of those tracks that is an anthem. But what I love is that, you're displaying your spirituality yet again, because you said when you first heard that it was this kind of hit, it was frustration and you wanted to contact whoever should be contacted to find out, well, how could you do this? What are we owed, etc., etc. And then you let it be what it has to be. You let it go because it's not in your hands. And
Right,
then,
right.
however many years later, you're in tears because of the impact it has had anyway.
Correct.
So you still touched the people magnificently.
Again, as I said, that's the point.
Yeah,
That's why anybody does anything to touch the people, to reach out, to
yeah.
share what is within them. All right. And hope
That somebody gets it.
that the world notices, even
Yeah,
if it's a few people that in your circle, or if it's larger than that. Just the hope that somebody sees, right? And it means something. And
absolutely.
to see it meant that much, oh man. One of the poignant moments, poignant things about that is I wish that Sonny Davenport was still with me, all right, because it was his idea. Barely Breaking Even, he came up with when we were coming home from a log session on the train, riding on the subway, coming home, late night, 2, 3 in the morning, right? And we said we need one more song. And he thought about it and he said, what about a song that talks about what every man goes through, what every person goes through, how hard it is to make those ends meet and so forth and so on. And I was intrigued, but then he said, you know how everybody's barely breaking even. That was it. I was like, you know, and at that point, I knew we had to make it the flagship of the Log Project. So everybody that recorded all through the process of recording Log, I called everybody in, engineers, everybody. And the chorus that was sung on that was sung by, I think it was 11 or 12 people in the room, because I had everybody sing it, right? Just to make it sound
full. Yeah.
like everybody in the world is singing this. And that was the point. So yeah, when it went missing, I went crazy.
But it's done its full circle and it's come back to you.
Yes, it has.
You know, it's come back to you.
It has. At this point, there's about 6, 7 different versions that have come out of the song. Each one more brilliant than the last. So, like I said, that's the point.
Well, I think it's one of those tracks that keeps on giving. It's a track that keeps on giving. You know.
Well, yeah, it's relevant. It's as relevant today in the climate of politics, finances, one's life continuance. It's relevant today as it was then. You know, and it's always true, especially for the everyman, the average person. All right, it's always true.
Always,
You're living from one check to the next, paying bills, and it doesn't stop. It's endless and so forth. And it gets tight from moment to moment if you're like the average person. There are moments of tightness where it's like, oh man, I don't know where this money's gonna come from.
Yeah.
And the frustration of feeling that and then finding a way. That's what Barely Breaking Even is about. I'm gonna find a way, I'm gonna trust the Lord and find a way. Right. And so yeah, that's I think Barely Breaking Even is one of my coolest songs.
I was about to say, with all that you have in your repertoire, which is the closest to your heart and, dare I say it, your favorite? Because when you write, they're all your babies, so you don't have a favorite baby, but I'm going to ask anyway. Which one really touches you the most?
But as a composer, because it was my first commercial composition. So those two,
right.
You and I, and Barely Breaking.
Because I mean, the Log album is definitely one of my favorites. On the Line, come on, that is life itself. That's like oxygen.
Lay it on the line, thank you.
On the Line is just like oxygen. So then you moved on to, is it Aleem?
My brothers, the Aleem brothers, Tahaka and the ascended brother Tunde King, Tunde Ra Aleem. Yeah, they lived in my building.
Okay. Right?
We lived in the same Harlem building. It was a project building, Drew Hamilton Projects. Shout out to everybody, Drew, all the Drew folks. Hi. But they lived on the 17th floor. I lived on the 11th floor. And they had just moved, they had just stepped away from their involvement with Jimi Hendrix as his background singer.
All right.
Right? And they were proud of people and they backed up Jimi Hendrix. So they begin their own production and they come to me to arrange a song, to just do this arrangement, find the musicians, arrange the strings, arrange the horns, so forth. Some song called Hooked on Your Love. I did all that. I did the arrangement. And after they had that full record, they asked me if I would consider singing the lead, right? And so, yes, I did. And that began the entire Aleem Burgess dynasty and that period of my life where working with the brilliance of Tahaka and Tunde Ra and their vision of electro funk. I'd never heard of it. It was new to me.
So were
Right?
they the creators of that genre, would you say?
I would absolutely say that they are the creators of that genre. Um, well, not exactly, because they were inspired by other records like "Touch Me All Night Long" by Kathy Dennis. There were other people who were doing songs in that field, but Tahaka and Tunde had a specific idea about how to do it, and I'd like to say, combined with my help, uh, we were able to create that specific sound. So we have a hand in it, I would say, and that's largely the work of Tahaka and Tunde Aleem.
Yeah. Wow. But I mean, there's so many others like
Yeah.
Stranger. Come on, Stranger.
Yeah, Stranger. Now that was a fun project to do because here's what it was. So the Log album came out, was a smash hit, did what it did, right? And So lost barely breaking even or gave it up, right? They gave that up,
Yeah.
right? They wanted to do more stuff on me, but they wanted to approach me in this instance as a solo artist, right?
Right.
So they want to, now me, I went with the musicians that I'm always using. James Calloway, Sonny Davenport, the
Because the
people.
sound remained the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we added Vincent Henry and the ascended King George Ellington III, two horns on trumpet and tenor sax. Stranger was an homage to the work of Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson. You could hear it instantly. It's
Yeah.
modeled after that. All right. And the way that I'm singing it, the rhythm, the horn arrangement, that's what we're doing. We're creating based on having heard "Wanna Be Starting Something," having heard "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough." All
Yeah.
right, the things on Thriller. That was like, okay, we got to do a record like that, you know. And so, again, calling in all of my friends and loved ones in the music industry, we went in and we did it. Most noteworthy on those projects, because it's Stranger, Heartbreaker, Heavenly, and 1+1. Those are the 4 songs on the EP that Salso uh, uh, proposed for me to do. Jocelyn Brown and May Lisa Morgan and not Allison Williams, Angie Blake. They were the 3 female vocalists on it, and they
Right.
brought life to it. It was incredible. So, but yeah, they did an EP on me, and those were the 4 songs, Stranger amongst them.
Yeah, Stranger and Heartbreaker for me are just, yeah, up there.
Yeah.
High
I think
up
I
there.
performed Heartbreaker that night at the Jazz Cafe, if I'm not mistaken. I think Heartbreaker might have been the 3rd
Yeah,
song.
it was. Yeah.
Mm.
So, it was nice to hear that live. As I say, when it's one of your favorites, it's nice to hear it live, but also hear it on point. On
Yeah.
point. It was an absolute joy. So, of
That,
course, you were working with Jocelyn Brown at Salso with Inner Life, isn't it?
that's correct. Jocelyn was I met Jocelyn again through Patrick Adams.
Right.
And he had worked on her with the early Inner Life stuff, Caught Up in One Night Love Affairs, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. She was brilliant. And
Yeah.
so when we did an album for Delight Records called Dazzle, again, another studio group that doesn't exist, all right, it was most of the members of the PA system combined with the members of myself, James Calloway, and Sonny Davenport, all right? So we combined those two, and the production was given to myself and Stan Lucas, the late Stan Lucas, to produce that album. Jocelyn was one of the hired vocalists. We knew we wanted Jocelyn to sing leads to the things that we wanted lead, the Dazzle, the song Dazzle, It's Not the Same, so forth and so on. For me, she did the song All, and she did background on the whole album. So that began a relationship with Jocelyn. Further down the line, when Salsa was looking for a new song for her, Jocelyn came to me, and we talked about what she wanted to sing about. And she had just come out of a difficult relationship, but she was moving on and moving up. And she said she feels like this is the biggest moment. And once again, Sonny Davenport said, the moment of your life. She said, yeah. So I said, that's the name of the song. We'll write that. 2 days later, Sonny and I came up with the lyrics and so forth, brought Jocelyn over to my crib and played it for her. And she broke down. She was like, this is absolutely what's happening. We took it to Salso. Salso was like, go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that came out. Jocelyn is one of my angels and one of the sweetest people that you could ever meet, let alone being as brilliantly talented as she is.
As she is, yeah. I mean, it really is amazing to hear the stories, of course, from the horse's mouth, for want of a better phrase, but that they came from real life situations. Because, as I said, they've been anthems for all of us, but we really don't understand the creative side of it from your side, because Barely Breaking Even was from something that is real, a struggle. Moment of My Life is Jocelyn Brown coming out of a bad relationship and saying, right, this is the moment that I'm reborn and, turning into a butterfly in the beginning, but it's lovely to hear the real meaning behind these song titles, and that they're not just, frivolous things plucked out of the air. They have meaning.
Usually, I try to write about things that are real to us.
Yeah.
That are real to us. And write it in a way that can be absorbed without being preachy, without being, slapping you on your wrist or slapping on your hand, but saying we all experience these things. We all need a moment of our lives. We all are barely breaking even, That's what music is to me. That's what I'm trying to do. And
Can I just interrupt you there and say you're not trying, you're doing it. You're doing it.
Thank you. That's what I'm doing.
Not trying.
Quick edit. Plus out crying. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And God is good in the respect that this is year 56.
Wow.
2026 will be year 57 since I began, and that I can still do it. That the public has an interest in what I have to share. Is very important. Just 1 second. I gotta stop it. Okay, sorry about that.
No problem.
Landline.
We can edit that out. Don't worry. We can edit that out. But yes, it's really good to hear this story. And you come from the melting pot of talent known as New York. I mean, there just seems to have been so much going on there. Just living there was motivation.
Absolutely. Not just New York, but for me, Harlem specifically.
Right.
I was born in 53, which is, about 10 years after the war years.
Yeah.
And 9 or 10 years after the war years. The camaraderie of the African American community was very strong at that time. It was all about doing everything that we could do to support one another. And we needed that because at the time we were faced with Jim Crow America. All
Yeah.
right. That whole horrific situation. I was born into that. My parents had already been living through it.
Yeah.
All right. But in Harlem, there was a camaraderie that you couldn't find anywhere else, I thought. And
Okay.
also the energy of the musicians that they came through Harlem, jazz guys, Ella Fitzgerald, Duke
Duke
Ellington, Billy
Ellington,
Holiday.
yeah.
Yeah, the energy was still there. That vibration was still it existed in Harlem, and I was born into it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of feeling, I know it's a little metaphysical to mention, but I felt like that energy, and I grew up with that energy, and that's at least one of the major factors that powers my music. All right. Being born in that's, it's a lot of it is gone. It's all changed. But back then, I was at the tail end of what would have been that great music in the 40s and Charlie Parker and John Coltrane and Duke Ellington playing at the clubs right around the way. This is what my parents lived through. So I caught the last little vestige of that energy. And I think it's a part of what I do.
Well, I think of that kind of situation existed quite a way past 1953 that you were living in, the whole Jim Crow thing. And as much as we hear about racism and we experience racism, that was on a different level. It is unimaginable, and even though we hear the stories and we empathize, because I think we do a bit more than sympathize, we empathize, we
Right.
still cannot imagine what it is like or would be like to exist under that kind of a regime, because it really is a regime. You're
Ah,
not allowed to be out in the street after a certain time at night in certain towns, which I hear it still happens, you know?
oh, you'd be surprised at how much of it still occurs. Just recently, someone was found lynched on a college campus. All right.
Yeah,
And you can't describe it as anything but a lynching in 2025.
yeah.
All right. A young man was found lynched, hung from a tree,
And
you
you
know.
can't do that to yourself.
You
So,
know, and the
it's
thing is,
it's not suicide.
you would think that as a society, as mankind, with empathy and sympathy for one another as human beings, we would have risen above that. All right, far beyond it. There's no need, no matter how angry you might feel at one person, there's no reason to take their life. There's
Yeah,
no reason to remove them from what the possibilities of their future might be. There's no reason for that. And when you find oh my God. You find someone lynched, a young man lynched, young black man lynched these days.
yeah, 2025. As much as you're trying to think that things have evolved, you realize they haven't evolved that much.
Well,
And
I mean, it's not happening every day like it used to happen then.
yeah,
Back then, lynching was an every day or every week thing.
occurrence.
All right. It's been years since anything happened like that. But if you go back 10, maybe 15 years, you remember a young man in Texas that got dragged, all right,
Yeah,
by a pickup truck, dragged until his body just fell apart on the
yeah,
pavement. So the mindset is still there of such evils. And all we have to combat it is the positive energy that we can impart into the world. That's all we have. What we can say to each other to lift each other up, strengthen each other, tell each other to watch our backs without, without you know that the potential for harm is there. Currently, we have someone in our top office that we kind of know is not for us.
yeah.
All right. It's
That's
like
reality.
it's not a question. We know that. And so, but yet we have to endure all the things that he imparts into the world and the people that might follow him thinking the same. So, as sad as that is, we do have each other, right? We do have ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's all we need. That and God is all we need to get through it all.
Keep going. And of course, you say it's the good people, what they can impart into the world, what they can bring to this space.
Every good idea, every positive statement that you can offer and share with anybody and everybody whom you can is needed and important, because you don't know, you just might not know who you have lifted that day, all right, or what you meant to them and how much they may have needed to hear that.
Yeah.
So, that's certainly something I try to do with my work in music.
Yeah. I mean, as you say, as I said earlier, you've kind of reached a spiritual level that a lot of people haven't. So, and it's really good to hear and to hear it expressed, because it really is about uplifting people, inspiring people, involving and including people, not saying things that are going to break people, but to lift them, and we need more of that.
The more we do that, the stronger we become, the better we become, and we all strive for our better selves. We all look to lift and breathe and live our better natures.
Yeah.
All right. And it's something that I'm an optimist. I'm a all my life I've been an optimist. I believe that man can do it. I believe that we can accomplish that. And I believe for all of the things that distract us and take us away, we can still feel that and still see that and still embrace that and let that lift us up. I believe that. All right. In the face of what I see on the news every day. All right. In the face of what I see happening to the world, the things that we're fighting, all fighting, like global warming and climate change and so forth. These are battles, we just got through one of the biggest battles of our lives.
Yeah.
In the COVID pandemic. We who are still here to talk about it today survived that. So if anything could be unifying,
yeah,
could bring us together and say we survived this together. That's all the motivation we need to do better and to be better to one another and to embrace one another despite our differences or differences of opinion. All right.
Yeah.
Once we get to that point, that's the hope for mankind.
Yeah.
And I hope it's something that our kids will see and our grandkids will experience. I hope that we can lead them to that world because they'll need it.
Yeah. As I say, I think things will get harder before they get better.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially if what's going on now keeps going on.
Yeah.
All right. Especially if that's happening, they'll need all the spiritual strength and empowerment they can get.
Yeah.
Okay. It's up to us who are here to provide that energy.
To impart that in their lives.
And exactly. And impart that hope into their lives.
Boy, so what is in store for Leroy Burgess now?
Well, I'm so glad you asked that. I'm so glad you asked that. As of yesterday, we released a single that I'm really quite proud of, a remake of Donny Hathaway's Love, Love, Love.
Oh.
Which was an amazing song on his Extension of a Man album, one of my favorites, and written by J.R. Bailey, who was a friend of mine and managed by myself. Managed along with my group, Black Ivory, and J.R. Bailey. We were managed by Lenny Adams, who took over for Patrick Adams. So I've known JR for a long time in his lifetime. Anyway, Donnie did a great version. My partner and I said, what could we do a fast version, an up-tempo dance version of the song? and we agonized over it for a little while, and it came out yesterday. Two different dance versions of that wonderful song, "Love, Love, Love." So, and that's available on all digital platforms, et cetera, et cetera. It's on YouTube. It's on Track Source and Spotify and Pandora, all of that.
Okay,
So
I'll have to check it out.
I hope you'll some of your audience and you folks will give it a listen, see if you like it. If you do, please support it. Please share what you feel about it, and we're proud of it.
Well,
I
I think it's a combination of a few greats, Donny Hathaway, yourself. So it can only make magic, it can only make magic.
I hope so, and it, it's a homage to Donnie's work, uh, and particularly that song.
Yeah,
So just came out. In addition, uh, there's some new stuff coming out with me and BBE. I don't want to
okay,
tell you too much about that, but new stuff coming out with that. I'm working on stuff with the wonderful Mark Mack.
right.
We've got a few things, a few fans in the
I
fire.
can see the joy in your face when you mentioned that. So you're really looking forward to that.
Well, music has always lifted me, and when I talk about the work that's being planned or the work that I'm doing, it always makes me smile. It's like, you
Yeah, I
know,
can see.
it's
Because you still have that excitement about what you do and the love for what you do and
still,
the
still
creativity. You're excited to put it all together.
yeah,
And
it's still fun. I'm still enjoying it and still getting out of it what I got when I was young. You
well,
know,
that's
so
great. All
so
these years later, that's really quite something to say.
yeah. It bears mentioning that myself and my group Black Ivory are being honored by being enshrined in the Walk of Fame in Atlantic City. They're
Oh,
putting
right.
they're putting a plaque down in April for myself and my group, joining all the other wonderful people that are there. So I'm excited about that.
Well, that's
And
fantastic. And that's where in Atlantic City.
yeah, in Atlantic City on April 27th,
Right.
hosted by the National R&B Music Society. Um, and beyond that, I continue to record. Uh, uh, very proud of the Black Ivory single. Going, it's a remake of Little Anthony's "Going Out of My Head."
Right.
Uh, and it's the first Black Ivory record in 14 years. So I'm proud of that. Proud of the work of Tyrone Williams. We just released his second EP that I'm very excited about. Tyrone's got one of those great voices from back in the day that's just like heaven to listen to.
Yeah.
Um, and so we've been producing him for a little while now. So those are the things that are coming up, and I look forward to every gig. And I love performing in London. And y'all guys are crazy.
So when are you coming back? This is what we need to know. I
Okay.
know you've only just left, but we need to know when you're coming back.
uh, my people are talking about a show coming up in May. All
Okay.
right. It's just at the initial stages of those discussions,
Yeah.
but that's being talked about. I'm always interested in joining my friends over there across the pond and in the UK specifically. So, uh,
Well,
and
the UK loves you. So we are always looking forward to seeing you
I'm
come here.
always happy to come to the UK. It's very cool. But I'm open for promotion, and and anybody that's interested in me coming through, I'm happy to hear. Happy to do it.
Hear that, guys? He's interested in promotion. Get yourselves together. We need to get Leroy Burgess back here. Okay.
Yeah, do that.
Is it Saving Coco? Saving Coco?
Coco is the name of the
The
band.
band. Yeah. We need to get them back here. Okay. So
A
you heard it from him.
band, 9-piece band. I'm piece number 10,
Yeah.
and we're easy to get with. It's particularly in Europe because they're based in Europe. I'm
Yeah.
based in the United States, in New York, but we love coming there. We love coming there, and
Well, you're
I'm
always well received. So
Yes, and I want to thank the people at the Jazz Cafe. I want to specifically thank Giles Peterson for bringing us to the We Out Here. That was the day after the Jazz Cafe show
Right.
formed at the We Out Here festival, 15,000 plus people.
Wow.
Um, so I want to thank, and I want to thank everybody for caring and enjoying my work, sharing my work with their lives and getting something from it. I want to thank you because it means the world to me, and uh, it's really something that I feel deeply in my heart. So I'm grateful. I'm really from a single person to everybody in the world. I'm just grateful. So there
Well,
you
we're
go.
grateful to you too for what you've been providing us for some over 40 years, 50 years even. So we're
Uh,
grateful to you too. So it sounds like next year could be quite a nice year for you. The recognition at Atlantic City with the star
uh,
and, hopefully coming back to London and all the new stuff. So,
well, I'm always excited. I'm a little crazy that way. I live in music, so and music is always exciting. So uh, I can't wait to get back.
yeah,
Can't wait to get back. I can't wait for you guys to hear some of the new work. Uh, I've also done a bunch of new work with Louis Vega, and I'm just happy to do it. I
well,
just love it.
he's had his hands on some Leroy Burgess stuff in the past as well.
Well,
He's done a
yeah,
remix of Barely Breaking Even, and
yes,
and
yeah, that was with myself and Patrick involved in that. And so basically the team that created that uh along with Louis Vega. Louis Vega is just amazing in everything.
absolutely,
This is t-shirt, this is a shirt here, Elements of
yeah,
yeah, so
Elements
uh
of Life. That's definitely Louis.
yeah, so it's wonderful working with him, Josh Milan, uh recently Brian Jackson. He's so dope. Uh I had the opportunity of working on remakes of several of his songs doing the string orchestra. I'm doing string orchestrations and film scoring. I'm getting my hand starting to touch into that a little bit. Through
As you
some of
said, the possibilities are endless. It's infinite what you can do.
music,
So,
and
you
music.
just need to make the right connections, connect with the right people, and make things happen.
Yeah, shout out to my nephew, stepson, Andrew, Mr. 2O Jackson, who's a film director and he's in the film world. He recently won the Directors Guild of America award for his work on the film Oppenheimer.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah, I
he's
know. No, no.
doing his thing. He's doing it. So I do a lot of scoring for his independent projects. That's a lot of fun for me. So
Yeah,
like I said, with God's grace, I'm here. I thank you, Barry, for your interest in talking with me. It's,
absolutely.
it's wonderful talking to you, and God bless everybody. God bless all of y'all. Take care of
And
yourselves.
it's lovely to hear that there are more strings being added to the Leroy Burgess bow. More strings being added to the bow.
Well, yes, absolutely, and I'm absolutely happy
And
to
just
do it.
keep going, keep going. We are sucking it all up in the UK. So whatever you bring, we're good with it.
God bless, God bless y'all for real. I mean that from my heart. God bless each and every one of y'all. Have wonderful moments. Dance, sing, make music, make love. Do what you do.
Yes, you too. Take care. It's been an absolute pleasure and delight. And we will be in touch. You will be shouting me as soon as you get to the UK.
Okay, that's what's up. And I hope that this is something that once you set it up, it's shareable. People can see it.
Absolutely.
Send me the links and I'll put it up on all my social media.
Definitely, it will be shareable. It will be shared all over. You'll
That's what.
be the first to know. You take care and thanks again.
God bless you.